Well, hello, my beautiful people. I hate this. Maybe it was. I probably should have just came with the phone. I forget it's the camera on this computer. So I actually started looking for a new laptop. I started looking. I'm seeing what's out there. So I think in the next month or so we're going to get a new laptop with a much better camera, and we'll be able to rock it out with our coffee beans out. So I'm running straight YouTube. I ran straight YouTube just to hopefully get the better quality imaging, and I can see on my screen it's still like 720p because a $2,500 MacBook Pro only gives you a 720p camera. Interesting. Anyways, guys, we're here because of Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian Rogers is a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from his home from Hendersonville, Tennessee, and has not been seen since. We have not believed. I shouldn't say. We tried to believe the parents. I started getting involved in this case. I heard about the case right before Riley Strain. And then a TikToker, she had like 92,000 followers, was begging everybody to go to the Sebastian Rogers case. And that's how I learned from it is this TikToker that was begging people to go. So we had a huge wealth of people in Nashville, Tennessee. So getting over to Hendersonville, Tennessee wasn't too hard. And everybody kind of migrated over there and started a search effort. Well, there was a TikToker that was associated with the United Cajun Navy and just kind of rocked this case right from the beginning. It was a hot mess. They were doing some really bad stuff. They were trying to make it a publicity thing and a money-making thing on the back of this 15-year-old boy. A lot of content creators got upset about it. And then, of course, those upset feelings. Oh, thank you, Sheila. God bless. Those upset feelings ended up turning into vindictiveness. And then, of course, the unnecessary and unending bashing of Tony and Seth. So we've tried to stay out of it. I mean, I obviously speak about the drama that's being created, even the post that was created earlier about how it's my right, it's my constitutional right. Okay, well, at this point, like, you're fighting so hard that there's a reason why you're fighting so hard. And I don't think it's the avocation of this boy. And I don't think it's because his father's a horrible man. I think it's because somebody is behind in your ear pushing you to keep going and going and going. And you're going to end up paying the ultimate price for it. And it's really sad because I've tried to warn this person. They are just deluded because they've got a woman in their life that they haven't had in a really long time. And they've got a popular guy in their ear. So they're wanting to be cool. And it's really, really sad in my book. And I feel like he is going to lose his reputation. I will never work with him again. And I'm still trying to save him from from having to deal with this with other content creators. But he's just he can't see the forest for the trees right now. And I'm not going to try to help him. All of us are adults. We have to make our own beds, and we have to lie in the beds that we make. And this is one thing where, just like I did, we have to live and learn. And it worked. It cost me a lot of time and a lot of money to learn that valuable lesson. So, anyways, getting on with this, the story that Chris and Katie have put forward is falling apart. It's falling apart. It's literally falling to pieces right before our eyes. One thing I have noticed is that since this new information has come out, we have not heard from Chris or Katie. I'd like to hear from them. I'd like to hear their lies. I'd like to hear what lies they're going to say now. Because people have been asking me all day long, why is Katie not, at least Katie, in jail? I don't know the answer to that. The only thing I can tell you is this is the way Tennessee is. Now you guys understand why I'm so hot under the collar with Tennessee. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Tennessee. I'm just simply stating Tennessee's got it wrong, okay? They've got it backwards. I don't know how they do their policing, but it's not policing I'm accustomed to. When children go missing, we have forensic teams inside their bedroom. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it here in the state of Florida. There's creeps out there. We don't know how they get into houses, but they sometimes get into houses undetected. And the only way we find out that they came into houses undetected is through forensic findings. Even when we think a child's walked out the door. I don't understand this policing in Tennessee. I've never understood this policing in Tennessee. I have been sitting on my platform for 3 years saying fire everybody in Tennessee and start over, quite frankly. The entire state's misguided. That's my opinion. I love Tennessee, and I love I like Marsha Blackburn. I like, guys know I'm a political person. I like some people. I like some people. But if they ain't doing the job, they ain't doing the job. Period. I'm sorry. I'm a results-oriented woman. It's not about how I like you or what you say. It's about what you can produce. And right now, the only thing Tennessee, from my viewpoint, is producing is a bunch of missing kids. And a lot of parents have said, I don't know what happened to them. We had Sasquatch come. They vaporized. They were, abducted by aliens. I'm not sure what this week's news story is going to be, but I know if a child's missing and is not found in 72 hours in Tennessee, if you really are a parent that didn't do anything wrong to your child, you're screwed. You're screwed. You're in the state of Tennessee. You're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. I want you guys to listen to this because I pulled this up, and this is this is Chronicles of Olivia's interview. I pulled it up because I thought it was going to be important for us to, kind of look at. We need to look at, I'm going to go away for a second until I pop back up. Sorry, it does that. It pops me over on the other thing, but at least you guys can see me down here. And so we're going to go here because this is what Chris has to say about the security cameras. I want to hear what he has to, or not the security cameras, the weird lights, the security footage that was released by Nick Barris. Everybody was a little hot under the collar for him, but now that, hindsight's 2020, honestly, I don't know. I think, personally speaking, I'm glad he released them, even if it got him in trouble. Give me a second, guys.
One other question I have is recently Channel 5 in Nashville, they had security footage that showed 2 flashlights the night he disappeared. Is there anything that you think about this video? Or
Sure. So there's a lot of speculations about that video that are floating on the internet. Okay. And that is exactly what it is. It's speculations. Now, what it can give you an official statement on is TBI Newslink has released a statement from law enforcement, between local law enforcement, state law enforcement, some federal law enforcement, and they have analyzed that video so many times over that everything that everybody is trying to assume is a flashlight, I hate to say this, it's not. As much as we would love it to be one, it's not. I'm not going to go into details as far as where that video is shot from.
We know.
But I can tell you, as the parents, we have seen the video firsthand from law enforcement. We know exactly where it was taken from. And nothing that is being assumed right now is actually true about that video, unfortunately.
okay.
So that is what was said. Now, I don't know about you, but I think we've analyzed this information enough to at least ascertain that those are moving lights. And I don't know of any other type of moving lights other than flashlights or cell phones. And this is something that's coming from the backside of their home that Chris and Katie did not want us to see. They wanted us to believe it was something else. If you guys have not yet seen it, this morning I did a live That live was I went through everything with you guys. I went through the photos, I went through the videos, I went through my thoughts. I'm still analyzing and trying to figure out about those the ones that came out of that one chick's channel. I'm still analyzing it. A piece of me feels like it's something, but every time I look at it, I see the same thing over and over again. I just don't see them moving. I mean, you're carrying something, your ass is out of there. You're not sitting there for 20 seconds, keep struggling and stuff like that. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. I don't know. It could be something, it could not be. I'm not convinced just no offense, but I'm just not convinced just yet. Now, will I be off the fence? Yeah, when I can see the video and see where it's at and see what is going on instead of it just being blown up for me. I need to be able to recreate it myself. If I can't recreate it myself, I can't use it. So if somebody wants to help recreate it so I can see it in a different format and see how it's created, I will take a second look at it. But right now, the way it looks like it's bushes or trees with some type of light, and it's just giving off something. But again, I don't know. I can't recreate it. It was created somewhere, and I know it was created. I know it was created off the video that Nick Barris dropped and made public. But again, Serenity says, I wish LE would start treating every missing child as suspicious and suspicious instead of right away treating it like a runaway, because many kids don't run away. Too many parents are doing bad things to their kids. Well, even if, just flip side of that, all of our laws that we have is to save the one, right? So everybody's got to give everything to save the one person. Like everybody's got to be inconvenienced for the one person, right? That's the way our world works. And I'm not saying it, I'm not saying it's snarky, but it's the truth. Everybody, when it comes to our government, when it comes to, that's their drumbeat, even though they don't really do anything other than speak it. It's like word salad to me, but the drumbeat is, that one person. We want to get that one person. All these laws are to save that one person. So it doesn't even matter if 90% of the kids were truly runaways. You're not treating the parents like suspects because 10% are runaways. You're treating all the parents, the 90% of parents, like suspects because of the 10% that aren't runaways, or the 2% that aren't runaways. Because at the end of the day, it's about the one. If everybody else has got to be uncomfortable, then they have to be uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, we're here to save the one. So, I don't know. I think that would be a good strategy. Why they haven't done that, Serenity, I don't know. But again, this is Tennessee. We all agree, like if anybody's from Florida, we can all agree that if this situation happened here in the state of Florida, at the very minimum, Katie Proudfoot would be in jail right now. There's no evidence this child walked out the door. There's no video evidence from across the street that the front door even cracked open. You've got the parents lying out the wazoo. You've got everything. We've got hell. It looks like freaking Kathy's freaking vehicle was the vehicle in that hazy vehicle in that video. We've got some major problems here, and now we got Katie and Chris not saying anything. Why haven't they come out with a statement? They had no problem saying a statement 3 months ago that the lights were bunk. It's not what we think it is. Well, we've done our overlays now. We've done our overlays. We see exactly where those lights are. We see exactly where they're going. We see a car standing there. The car looks like Kathy's, his mother's. And we got parents' stories that don't make sense. And Katie has to be asleep this entire time. She's got to be on the couch, either sleeping or getting up and going to bed and sleeping. But throughout this whole time, with the stuff going on inside the house and the stuff going on the outside of the house, Katie needed to drill it in our head. She was sleeping. She was sleeping. And we all kept scratching our head. How in the hell did you have a 3-hour conversation while studying and snoring on the couch? And you heard a thud? Huh. Interesting. And so you were asked out the entire time. Really? No crap. And Chris, we heard from Seth how strongly she slept, right? She wasn't taking care of her son. He was. And the baby would be sitting there screaming to the top of his lungs, and she would be sleeping through it. Can somebody explain to me how if she was sound asleep on the couch, how in the world Chris woke her up even on the phone? If a screaming baby isn't waking her butt up, can somebody explain to me how him scream, even if it was on speakerphone, how in the world would he scream loud enough to wake her up so she could go in her room? But listen to this. She says she gets up, around 11:30. Like her story's been changing all over the place. The story she told the neighbors is that she heard a thud in her son's room at 11:30. And she asked him at 11:30, hey, are you okay in there? And he said, yes, Mama, go to bed. He, according to the first story she told the neighbors, he was the one that told her to go to bed. So she went to bed. See, because at the beginning, nobody knew about this 3-hour conversation that she had with Chris. That must have came in a little later after the first day, maybe when they got the phone records back. They probably saw a 3-hour conversation and no other call until the next day at 6 o'clock. Last person to speak to her, first person to speak to her the next morning. That doesn't sound sus at all. She calls a man that's 3.5 hours away and won't even pick up the phone and call her neighbor to see if her neighbor saw her son. She was fully dressed when she should be in pajamas. Chris is in his crane at 5:15 when he doesn't start work until 7. There's a lot of strange phenomenons when it comes to Chris and Katie, and now there's evidence. There's been evidence. There's been a whole host of evidence that law enforcement said there was none. No, I'm not a PI. I'm not a PIM. I'm not a PI. I act under my journalism hat. Journalism and citizen hat. I don't want to be a PI. Listen, the work I do, I don't want any type of professional license. I don't need it. If I want to do, I do just fine, just what I do, sleuthing around, using public records. I've got data mining programs. I don't need to be licensed, and nor do I want to take 2 years out of my life. I live in Florida. You have to work under a PI for 2 years full time before you can get your PI license. I'm not willing to obligate myself to that. I don't need to. I think I do just fine without a PI's license. And these idiots on YouTube, you piss them off, they're going to go after your license. Ask Self Investigates. He tried to come after me. He tried to take my channel fraudulently. Tried to act like he was another person and came after my channel with copyrights, acting as another person in I filed a complaint with the FBI and against his license for that. It took him 3 months to get everything cleared up. He still has his license, of course. But I don't like internet PIs. They are supposed to be private. They're not private. They're supposed to have confidentiality and ethics. These people obviously glossed over that portion of it because they got their freaking license out of a Cracker Jack box. I know Chris was in the crane at 5 a.m, but I wonder how long he had to have been there. Like a few minutes or possibly longer. I'm thinking he had to have been there. The way I'm looking at this, because somebody's talking about him being at, there's no way he could be at that SUV, guys. There's no way he could be at that SUV past 2 a.m. Okay? There's no way he can be. So either one of two things happened. So here's starting to theorize a little bit. So how I'm envisioning that this happened is she called him at about 9:43. He probably immediately got into his vehicle and started heading that way. I would assume. Maybe not. Maybe he called his mom and his mom had to head over there. But the way I'm looking at it, 9, 12, he wouldn't even have gotten back there until 3 a.m. And then back, it take another to get him back to work by 6. So none of that works. None of that works. So one of two things happened. Chris came back and he was back by around midnight, and they did whatever they needed to do because we don't have any footage earlier. We have this section of footage. This is with our lights. You know, they said that when the car left that morning, it was just a little while later that the truck was coming in, the garbage truck was coming in. You could see the garbage truck. And so if that's the case, then you're talking about maybe if they come around 5:30, that was at 4. There's no way that Chris could be at in his crane at 5:15 if that was him out there at that vehicle, unless that vehicle and the timing was earlier that night. Because again, the camera that's got these images on it has a stuck time. So, you know, they have to estimate, and the only way you're going to do it is finding a marker. Like when the sun goes down, you know, well, I shouldn't even say that. These guys that they've got in these labs and stuff, they can look and tell you the exact time based upon a shadow and a tree. It's a little crazy, but it's amazing what they do, you know? So they can literally tell the time, and all they need to do is get a marker, and then they just time it from the marker on to find out or give a roundabout time that it is. So they can really reconstruct this very, very well, especially maybe that's why the state troopers were there, is to be able to look, you know, to find out the time because of that the issue with the film and the you know, the digital timing on it was all messed up. So it could be Chris if it happened earlier that night. Guys, you got to remember, Chris had to be out of there. He had to be out there and on the road heading back to work no later than 2 a.m. 2 a.m. was cutting it close. But it would get him at his job at around 5:15. Again, if everything went well, it would be my assumption that he would have left around 1:30 or 1:45 to head back to give him a little bit of time. This might explain why we appear to have 2 different scenes here. Actually 3. We have the house, we have the retaining pond, and then we have the road on Keller where that car was parked. We got 3 different scenes in my opinion. In my opinion, the house is where everything happened. Okay, we don't have scent of Sebastian at the house. We don't really get scent of Sebastian. Now, they didn't go to Keller. We didn't get hits on Keller. Okay, guys, I want to make sure that this is clear. Where that car was sitting, there were no hits from the dogs that we know about. So the only hits that we know about is where it started and ended, and that was at the retaining pond over by the construction site. That retaining pond was drained. They did not find, we don't know, you know, law enforcement lies to us. We know that they're either not talking to us or they're flat out lying to us at this point. So we have the retaining pond. Now we heard that the dog jumped into that, but the law enforcement came immediately out and said that it was a false hit. And that was the only hit that we heard about, was right there at the retaining pond and near the construction site and a dumpster. I don't know where the dumpster is in conjunction with the retaining pond or whatnot. So I'm thinking that maybe Chris came home, helped Katie move over to the construction site. That's why there's no scent, because his feet never touched the ground. He was rested over there. Chris may have helped her do whatever she needed to do. He needed to load Sebastian in his vehicle and take off so he could get back to work. Meanwhile, Kathy Bowersox comes over, maybe Kathy and Terry, or maybe Kathy and Aunt Melissa or Dara or a number of people. I don't know. Maybe someone came over there to help her clean. And it appears to be Kathy's vehicle. But we have to always keep in mind that Chris was at his crane at 5:15. So whatever time we have to calculate him being back at his crane at 5:15, no matter how we look at this story. So either the car incident happened much earlier than we thought and happened like around midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, or we're looking at a cleanup at this late in the game, and there must be a movement of some type of activity going to the construction site where the scent is. Something is telling me that Sebastian was placed over at the construction site at least for a little minute until somebody got there. BBQ says LE got the black box info, phone records. If they suspect anyone, they would be pulled in. And they were pulled in. Katie and Chris have been pulled in quite a lot, though. So, yeah, I thank you for that. But I got to tell you, let me put this back up here because I think this, it's going to suck because I can't do it on here. So I'm going to have to, I'll put it at full transparency when I pull it up. Then you guys are going to have to do black screen, right? You're going to get a black screen while I adjust it down. So you guys probably have black screen. It always pops me over there. There we go. So here it is. Here is and I've got it over. I've got it at full, and I'm going to go back. You guys are going to see a blank screen here for a second while I adjust it down. I'm going to adjust it completely off. I'm going to take the transparency to 0. So you see just the image, and then we're going to creep the transparency back up to maybe a 13. So you can see the shadow around the back end of this vehicle. Okay, so give me just a second. Let me move this down here so I can pop back and forth. So this is the image right here that you guys see. Now I'm going to creep it back up because this is the only way I can do it on YouTube. And I'm sorry, I probably should have just StreamYard. If I would have known the quality of this camera, I should have just used my phone, to be honest with you. The phone and the computer. I could have turned the phone around. Maybe I'll do that. I like the image, a better quality image, and I'm not getting it with this MacBook, and I don't like it. So let me go ahead and move this up just a bit. See it? Look at that. Can you guys barely see the transparency of the vehicle over the shadows? Do you see how perfectly that car matches up with the shadows? I'm hoping you guys see it as clear. I mean, it's vague. You can barely see the overlay over it. I did that intentionally because I want you to see the shadowing, the halo that the lights put off. This SUV, one of our people did send me an email. The SUV, this is an Infiniti. So the Infiniti does not have OnStar. It actually has Infiniti InTouch. And we do have some information on the Infiniti InTouch. It does have security tracking. So if your car is stolen or lost, it will find it. Seth had a pickup truck, right? But this right here, this car that you're seeing overlaid is a 2019 Q80. It didn't say QR80 on the back of their vehicle. I went back and checked. It said X80 right on the back of their vehicle because we do have a photo of Kathy Bowersox inside her vehicle and all angles of her actual vehicle and her license plate to boot. And so we can see that we can see her vehicle. We can see that it was a Q80. A Q80. All right, I'm just going to enhance this just a little more so you see a little more of the SUV over the lights. All right, there we go. Now I've got it up to 21. So now you can see the SUV overlaid a little bit better. You see that? It is almost a perfect match to the halo that we saw on that street. And this is the problem we're having because Chris was bragging about how the best part about it is Sebastian did not leave any evidence behind. And you know what? He didn't leave any evidence behind. But you, my friend, you and your wife and your family, you left a whole trail of evidence behind. A whole trail of evidence behind. I was able to modify this and get the back end almost perfectly aligned with the images off that camera. And again, does this mean this is Kathy Bowersox's vehicle? No. What I can tell you is that Kathy Bowersox drives a 2019 Q80 Infiniti SUV, and the overlay that you're seeing right there is a 2019 Infiniti Q80 overlaid over the shadows, and we have an almost identical, perfect match of the vehicle. So I'm not going to say it's her vehicle, but it to me at least implies that this is an SUV that we are looking at here, as opposed to a car or a pickup truck or anything like that. And with this curvature, this step, this clear step in the halo, is something I haven't found on the back end of another car yet. It looks like that this is the design of the back hatch of the Infinitis. This is not unique to the Q80. So it could be another line of Infiniti that created this mark. But based on that step, I really truly believe it's an Infiniti make. So we'll see. I'm tired. I just started my new job today. It went well. Oh, well, congratulations, Rapper. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy. I know getting back into the rhythm of things, it's really, really tough. If you guys remember, I kind of licked my wounds for about 6 months. I only did like one video a day. I couldn't even hardly, I was just tired. But that was something totally different. But when I started getting back into the rhythm again, I was burning my candle at both ends, and I feel you. I was just extremely exhausted. I'm starting to slow down a little bit because I can't keep up with the same pace that I was doing right at the gate when I finally was just over it. But I still am able to maintain. I'm still maintaining the same amount of work and videos or lives. I'm just doing them on multiple platforms, keeping different platforms engaged, not just YouTube. I used to be just on YouTube. I'm TikTok, I'm Twitter, I'm Facebook, I'm Instagram. I'm using different platforms. I haven't been on Instagram. I need to kind of pick up my uptake on Instagram. Instagram is a great platform to use. I hear a lot of the younger people are using Instagram as opposed to Twitter. As you know, Twitter and Facebook are kind of, they're still happening. People are going to them and engaging on them a lot, but there's other platforms that the younger generations are using, and they're not coming over to Facebook, and they're not coming over to Twitter. So I can foresee as time goes on, those two platforms are going to be less desirable, at least to our youth. And we always I have to be on all these platforms because we do true crime. So we need our youth involved in it. We need our adults involved in it. We need everybody involved in it. We need eyes on these people. We need eyes on these cases. It's as sad as it is, Kaylee Gonzalez was one of those people. She lost her life. She was one of the victims of the Idaho 4. Well, she followed Chronicles of Olivia. And if you follow, especially back in the day, Chronicles of Olivia and I worked a lot together. So there was no way you could follow Chronicles of Olivia without watching my work. And just to see that she was watching our work, it just gave us a whole new appreciation to our audience, because in all fairness, we were covering one of our audience members' cases. And that was very hard for us. So, this stuff does get to us sometimes, especially when we find out that we are somehow connected with a victim. And, obviously Olivia's side was more connected to her than our side, but Olivia was, we'd worked together in the majority of her work, because back then Olivia was very shy to be in front of the camera. She's not so much anymore. It's been a pleasure watching her grow and get her creativity and get her voice and see how she does things. And it's been great watching her grow. But those earlier years, she wanted to record. She didn't really want to be in front of the camera. And so a lot of that stuff was me, the work we were working it. It's just that she didn't want to be, I She was shy. She's still shy, but she's not as shy as she once was. So I'm so happy for that. But Kaylee Gonzalez was a viewer. That's the craziness. And now I got the Proudfoots being viewers. Katie and Chris. Oh, Chris, remember that text message I told? Oh, let's read the text message I sent you. I'm not going to read your response to me, but I'll read my message because I want to see if it rings true to you now, Mr. Proudfoot. Oh, I put a message. Oh, it was a voicemail message. And just to show you that this is the real Chris Proudfoot. Okay. I just don't want you seeing the message he wrote me because I don't have his permission to use it. Okay. Why isn't it playing? Let's go out and go back in. Let's see. That was weird. It didn't play my voicemail clip.
Hi, Chris. It's Bullhorn Betty. I did want to stop by because I saw you on another channel that protects criminals, which is kind of odd that you circulate those channels. However, there was one comment that you made about how we need to take law classes. And I just wanted to let you know, I don't know if you know this about me, but I worked in law offices for years. I have a paralegal degree and I graduated with honors, as a matter of fact. So I know you think I'm an idiot and don't know what I'm doing, but I can promise you I do. And I've done investigative work on cases just like this many other times. So if you would like to talk off the record, I'm happy to hear what you have to say. But honestly, this is where I stand. So take it for what you will.
So, Chris, I just wanted to let you know, how do you like me now? I mean, you didn't like me before. But I just want to let you know, knock, knock. Hi, I'm Bullhorn Betty. I told you I would be up in your orifices and up in your colon. I'm not far enough yet. I'm not far enough. And I told you it'd be painless. Like you didn't even know I was up there until boom. Right? I see a polyp. Time to burn that ass, baby. Time to burn that ass. So we've got problems here. But I think we're missing something. I still think we're missing something. So we still have to explain the scent over in the construction site. Not the colon. Don't get triggered now. Oh, I'm gonna burn that butt. We care about all of our parents' health around here, you know. When you got something up, stuck in places, we just want to make sure you're okay. We want to unearth it, okay, and we want to remove it. And typically, we pray to God that you get medical care of our state of Tennessee, The prison system, I hear they have a shitty healthcare system. I hope that you guys utilize it well where you're going. I see a polyp. Time to burn that ass. And I mean it. So, all this joking aside, at the end of the day, this is a real case. This is a real boy. This is a real boy that I believe something terrible happened to him at the hands of his mother. And I believe that Chris, the protector that he is, had to come and protect his wife. And I believe he did. And we've heard him say that multiple times. He needs to protect his wife. We've heard him admit it. He wasn't admitting it for this specific thing, but we did hear him admit it. And I truly do believe that Christopher Proudfoot was here. I think we're going to find out he made it to Hendersonville. I don't think he would have left his mother and his stepfather to handle this, because nobody can handle a mess like this other than the man. And he is the man. He is the man. So now we have to explain we explained the car phenomenon. We've explained the light phenomenon. We have an idea of what transpired in the house now. We know that Proudfoot's story is horseshit. Now we have to explain the hit at the construction site. We need the hit at the construction site. Oh, sure, I could explain that. Hartgroves, I could absolutely explain that. It was manufactured. Just like I said, the idiot that exposed it would manufacture stuff for a story. It's so funny that something manufactured ends up being produced and ran with by this creator. He manufactures his own news. He has hundreds, I wouldn't say hundreds of troll accounts. He's got a lot of troll accounts. These troll accounts have been used. They're Mary Smith. They're Joni Rogers. They're, little grandmas and grandpas. They're older people. They're teenagers. He has Black Lives Matters, channels to infiltrate Black Lives Matters. He may reconverted some of those pages, his troll pages on Facebook for other things. But what he does is he goes in there as these people and he writes salacious stuff. And then he goes in there as himself and says, oh my gosh, look what they're writing here. So you want me to explain that, Hartgroves? I can absolutely explain it. You want me to explain how he utilizes word manipulation and word association on his channels, where he's constantly referring to Seth and suspect, Seth and suspect, Seth and suspect, and he never talks about a sentence without Seth and suspect in it. So his audience, every time they think of Seth, they think of suspect. You want me to keep going? I can keep going. I can show you examples out the wazoo on one creator's channel, one creator, and one creator alone. And it's funny that he just seems to always have the dirt and the tea. It's funny how that happens. Jeez. I wonder how that happened. Would love to show you. Because I got examples out the wazoo. I got receipts. Definitely receipts. But no, I don't believe Tony pulled out his junk on a video. That doesn't even remotely make sense. What in the world would somebody even consider doing something like that? Did anybody even say, but you guys all knew it was manufactured. You thought it was funny. And you passed it around and touted it as true. A man that has done nothing wrong. I don't know what you guys call that, but I call that mean, and I call that being a bully to a man that's trying to help. We don't get to choose who Seth works with. We've never chose who the family works with. The idea that we here as a public can demand a family to work with somebody, who the hell are we to demand that? It's unfair. We don't put that onus on any other family. Why this one? And the constant pressure to get rid of only one person, Tony. Why? Because he's the gatekeeper keeping these heathens away from Seth. And they don't like it. Just saying. Be nice to the man. Advocate for his son. You probably have a little more access to him. Just saying. It seems like seems like both of them are pretty nice. I can tell you, every time I have ever sent something over to either Seth or Tony, I've been responded back to very quickly. I haven't had any problems connecting with them, handing them information, nothing. They seem very responsive. They seem like they're welcoming of all tips, leads, and information. I don't know why Justin is, probably because they're applying pressure. They're trying to ostracize me, but they don't have to ostracize me. I've cut everything off with them. Like everybody on what they think is true crime, they're not true crime. When we go to places for, information, who are we thinking? We're thinking of like It's a Crime, 10 to Life with Annalise. We're thinking of a whole host of other channels. We're not thinking of these idiots. And so there's nothing that right there is nothing I ever want to be involved in, ever. If we are so low that we attack innocent families, innocent people that had nothing to do with their children over stuff that happened 20 or 30 years, I want no part of that. That's what these animals did to me. That's what these animals did to me. They tore my life apart and told me I can't be a good person because I have a past. And then they touted my entire criminal history on the social media and then put my home up with a map for every crazy person to come here. That's what they did. And JLR is aligned with these very people that have done that to me. And then they tried to destroy me and take my channel and take my livelihood away. And that man has aligned with them. And he's been aligned with them behind the scenes. So if you guys want to know why I'm so hard on this, it's because, you know what? Next time you go to try to take me out, you better take me all the way out. But these people here on these streets will do a lot. So please be careful when you guys hear or see something salacious. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. I don't know what, Tony's stuff looks like. I would have said that Jonathan, but that was entirely too, so I knew it wasn't him. But, I don't think it was Tony. I don't see any good reason. I don't know of that man sitting at his dining table and then standing up just to try to angle just right to see if they can get it in the camera. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay. And when something doesn't make sense to me, I'm going to flag it as untrue. I'm going to flag it as untrue. Keep watching the Ruckus video. I will, Beagle. That is a good video. Are we still having problems? Oh, that didn't need to be here. That didn't need to be, here we go. No, that was good. That was a good post. And then what's this one, Red Castle? Can you please clarify what type of a degree you have as a paralegal? If you haven't figured that out, or you can literally look it up. I mean, go to one of my hate channels. They've got a copy of it. So they've got a copy of it. But I can tell you that I've got one. I passed with a 3.67 GPA because in my time, you couldn't get over a 4.0. So that was a damn good, and that was that was a rolling score. That was a very high. I graduated in the top 2% of my class, 2%, not the 10%. I had the white tassels around my neck. What if Tony just made a mistake anyways? It's self-sabotage to do something like that on purpose. Yeah, listen, people don't walk around on lives with their junk hanging out. It doesn't make sense. Okay, I'm sorry. You just, there's just some things you don't do. Really, are you literally going, this is a professional man, whether you guys believe it or not. He's a professional man that deals with sales. He deals with high sales for F's sake. I mean, this we're not dealing with a dirtbag from the freaking hood. Okay? We're dealing with a professional man. What professional man do you know that's on a live walking around with his junk hanging out? Seriously. That is about you guys. You guys see me. I don't mind because I got crap all over here. My office desk is too overcrowded. I don't want to bring the crap out into my living room and on my dining table because, if somebody comes by, I like that area being clean. So, I work in here. I'm comfortable, right? I got everything. Like you see that I can spread out everything. I can literally work here for 14 hours nonstop with the room I have on this bed. And I got this little table here that puts my laptop up here. And if it's not that, I have a table for my lunch. And I just sit here and I freaking work. And when I get tired of looking at this, then I'll go into the office and do a live there, or I'll go into the living room and do a live there, or I'll go into the dining room and do a live there. But I gotta tell you, I'm sitting here doing this work, but it's you're basically saying that I would be here on a live with a green screen, butt ass naked. There ain't no way in hell. Okay? Like, it ain't happening. I don't see normal people doing it. If anybody wants to believe that video can believe the video, you want to believe it. No grown man is going to be hanging out with their junk out. That is the most ludicrous thing I have ever heard in my life. And for all the people out there to believe, I mean, it was a funny prank, but you know what? You can't, I know who did it. Or I know he's not clever enough to do it, but I know who's behind it. Let me leave it at that. I'll put that on it. I know who's behind it. Tony, I'm sorry. That came out all wrong. Everybody thinks the man's gay anyways. Boy, were you guys fooled. He was a little ho, wasn't he? Jeez Louise, even with married women, I'm just like, you know what? The shit that I found out, I feel, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. I'm just saying, I'm happy I'm getting a dog. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You guys, I'm telling you, you single women, you don't need no damn man. Just go get yourself a puppy. Okay? Trust me. A lot easier. And you know what? Even the potty training of a dog, a lot cleaner. I promise you. Lots and lots cleaner. And the best part is when you give them the same food over and over each day, they kiss you even more. They don't sit there and chew your ass out. I'm just saying. Chicken again? I'm a chicken head. If you don't like chicken, I'm just saying. I love my man. Well, you know, I don't have a love for a man, but I'm gonna have a love for a little furry girl. I think my best friend did that by design. I didn't really want to have to spade, but I think a female's probably what I need, you know? So when I start bitching, she starts bitching, you know, my little ride or die. Did I show you that cute little M&M bot? That's a cute little thing. And she's just a little chihuahua. So she's really going to come in. She's probably going to be like this big. And the first outfit I got for her is like the size of my head. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Did we get a new member? Oh, Crimson. Well, thank you for being a member of this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club. So just kind of rounding out, guys, we're getting to the end of this show. I know we kind of talked about a few things, but I think that the bottom line is Chris and Katie's story. I really had a problem with it from the beginning. We just kept working at it. I knew something was going to break. Because I just know people. And the law enforcement again, these are the things that I think could have been avoided if they had a public information officer handling this and they had a public relations, which again, this law enforcement body failed to do. And as predicted, these things are going to be happening. And I do believe that there's going to be more people over time if there's not movement in this case and they keep not having a public relations. I truly, truly believe that you're going to have more neighbors coming out because they're not required to keep it quiet. The only way that they can be hushed is by court order. That's the only way that they can be hushed is by court order. There's no court order. So as time goes on and the more that law enforcement is going to be ignoring these neighbors, more and more of the neighbors are going to start coming out, in my opinion. They're going to start coming out in, you know, I don't know if in force, but I think neighbors are going to start breaking their silence and leaking the information. And I just want to throw this out there. If there is any neighbor that would like to do it and does not want to come live and does not want to show their face and wants to be confidential, I'll keep you confidential. You will have to corroborate who you are to me. But I will go to the mattress to make sure nobody knows who you are. if you would like to tell your story. I will give you that platform. I have the ability to pitch your voice. I will cover your face. I will record your shoes if I have to keep you anonymous. Hell, I will record a tree and listen to you talk to keep you anonymous. But to be honest with you, the information to me is more than the content, because I'm looking for a boy. My content I can gather when I'm searching, but I need information. So if anybody is willing to trust me, call me, reach out to me, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I will keep you. I will go to the mattress to keep you confidential. If you talk to anybody, you will know I do keep people confidential. You can go back. We've brought many people forward before, and we have been able to keep their identity under wraps. The only ones that have their identity known were when they went on other channels and broke their identity. And then, of course, their stories were the same, and people were able to identify that they were our person. But still, we kept you confidential. If you keep your mouth shut, we keep our mouth shut. That's how we roll over here. So just throwing that out there to the people out there. If you want to, I'm open-eared. But again, I will keep you confidential to the public, but you can't be, I won't run your story if you're confidential to me. I have to be able to corroborate you as true as who you are and that you are a legit person. So again, if you can trust me, then I'll trust you. So that's how we'll roll. All right, guys. Well, that's what I have for tonight. We're going to be doing another live, obviously, tomorrow. It'll be later in the day. I will be going live on TikTok. If you guys would like to see me on TikTok, I may decide. I'm trying to work with Facebook right now to see how I want to start doing lives on that platform. I haven't decided yet. I mean, I can do them directly from StreamYard, but I'm having problems with StreamYard. And I think the problems I'm having are all going to be resolved when I get a Windows computer. I really do, because I just don't like MacBook products. I mean, I really think that people, I mean, they're a durable product. I get that they get very limited viruses. I get it, but I'm sorry. The features on it sucks. When I spend the kind of money I spent on this computer, and I find out it only has a 720p freaking camera, I about fell over. Yes, our iPhones are amazing. They got the best quality camera. I spent more on my computer than I did my iPhone. I got a better camera on my freaking iPhone than I do my computer. There's just a lot of stuff I don't like about them. And I think they're entirely too expensive. And I think that their app service sucks. You pay for literally everything. You guys need to move over to Android base. All these apps that you guys are paying for, guys, I'm telling you, you get them free on Android. You guys could be saving yourself like $70 freaking a month just by having an Android. I'm just saying. Thank you, Jen. Thank you. God bless you. Okay, before we get, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. The poll tonight was whether we thought we had almost 1,000 votes, 968. And boy, that was it. It's almost a 50-50 split, y'all. It was very, very tight. Do you think an arrest will be made soon? We have the yeses at 56% and the no's at 43%. This is going to be a poll that we're going to do throughout this over the next few weeks to see how people are, to see, maybe we'll get a press conference from the sheriff, soon. Maybe he'll kind of sum some of this stuff up for us, just to put our minds at ease. A very controlled information release or just an update on the case would truly be nice. Hearing it come from Eric Craddock would even be better. So that's kind of everything I've got. We are going to be going down this. We've still got another aspect of this case we have got to resolve. That aspect, and this is what I need the help from the audience on. That aspect is, how do we think the scent got over to the retaining pond? I need my audience to now start sending me emails with their theories on how they think Sebastian got there. What would lead, if we need to go back and confirm, but I'm almost positive the way I heard it, the way I read it, the way I understand it to be, is that dog was over in that area when he caught the scent. He did not catch the scent until he was there. And so I heard there was no scent caught at the Proudfoot home whatsoever. Not on the porch, nothing. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. So if that is true, then the only place that the hit happened was over at that retaining pond. And we heard on the audio, the police audio, that this dog, he's never had his dog do that before, but his dog ran and jumped right into the retaining pond. And there was a hit on a dumpster. Where the retaining pond is and where that dumpster is, I don't know. We need to figure that out. But I need your theories on how do we explain the scent over in that area and no other area. Not from the home to there, nothing. Just that area. I need you guys to start sending me your theories on that. I really appreciate you all coming here and hanging out with me. We have 885 people in chat. As you go out, as you leave, if you haven't already, please give me a thumbs up. I work really hard on this stuff. I know we didn't get a lot of presentation with this. It was more of a one-on-one with you guys. But I did want to have this conversation about Chris and Katie and the fact that their case, their story is crumbling literally before our eyes. And this is a huge, huge deal. And I don't want anybody misunderstanding that. This is huge. We have lights coming out of the back of their house that lead to an unidentified car. We've matched that unidentified car to a possibility of it being the make and model that we've seen Kathy Bowersox driving. We heard from community members that they thought they saw Kathy Bowersox's vehicle over at Worsham's store that morning around the time that Katie was leaving. Did she have to meet her to drop more stuff off? It seemed to me like there must have been some type of cleanup. And whatever was going on at that time of the morning, it seems like that would have been a cleanup process as opposed to the moving. So I'd like to see what your thoughts are on it, but I truly don't know. And I'm sorry I didn't get to keep up. Jen, thank you for the gifted memberships. If you received your gifted membership, please tell Jen thank you. I want to thank my lovely mods for always keeping the chat peaceful and clean for all of you guys. There are some people in here that kind of catch my attention that really say some bizarre stuff. And, I just want to let you know the Bullhorn Betty channel is very friendly to Tony as well as Seth. We do not bash them, nor would we bash Chris and Katie if they came on our show. We do bash them right now. Well, I wouldn't even call bashing them. We are stating facts. Their story is full of holes. That's what we stated. We've provided enough evidence of ours to support our findings. Now, is this a court of law? Obviously not. This is more of an investigative journalistic type of story that we're doing. We're showing you all the information that we can find. We're matching this stuff up because this is true crime. It does appear to be, I'm sorry, Kathy Bowersox's vehicle. She's the only one I know that has the Q80. The Q80 lines up perfectly. It just seems really bizarre. There's a lot to this story, guys. I never believed this boy just up and walked out of the home. And as you guys can tell, I worked very hard to try to prove it to our audience. Hopefully you guys got something out of all of this. We're still working on it. This is not going to be the last live. Tomorrow we're going to be talking and honing in on the retaining pond and the garbage, the garbage, bin. So we're going to be focusing on that because I think that's the last thing. We know that at least to me, I feel like we've proved that it's a very slim possibility that Sebastian walked out. I feel like I believe that we poked holes in enough of Chris and Katie's story from 9 to midnight that we don't believe what they are saying transpired. It really just seems scripted from that point forward. It seems like they didn't really get a whole lot of sleep the night before. It seems like stuff was going on inside their home, stuff was going on in the outside of their home, and a child by morning was gone. And the only person that was home with that child when all this stuff started happening was his mother. And then after that is when all these movements started happening, but not movements of Sebastian. movements of other people. So, all right, guys, go take it, use it, do it with what you will. We will be back here tomorrow to see more and more information. I will run from StreamYard. I may run from YouTube and just switch my phone around so you guys can see it until I can get the camera thing's bothering me. The haziness on these images is bothering me. I'm paying way too much money to have a crystal clear image, and we don't have a crystal clear image. So I'll be working on that, and we'll figure it out from there. Somebody's saying city cameras. Once I get there, I'll be identifying those. I'll be going around taking photos of every camera in the community. We'll start piecing this stuff together. Now that we see where the stuff is coming from, I'll be boots on the ground there. We'll get those images from, I've even got a pole that I can put my phone on. So I can literally put my pole up the height of that security camera and angle my camera and get the shot just like that security camera, just to see that shot. We can definitely do that. I got a 9-foot pole, a 9-foot cell phone pole. It holds my cell phone in it, and it goes up 9 feet. Okay, this is not my first rodeo. We got this. So I will bring the big pole out. We will put our phone up where, I'll be in front of that house. I'll put my pole up where that camera is, and we'll shoot the angle as it is. So we have a good quality image to overlay from this point forward. Any camera that we have that I can find in that community, I'm going to take a photo of the angle that it's shooting. So if we down the road find any other videos that are leaked or otherwise, we have a good quality image to overlay. And so I'll work on that while I'm there. The first couple days, like I said, when we get in the field, for some of you guys are new to me. This is the first time you guys have, subbed up to me and stuff like that. And you guys have seen me a lot while I'm home because I'm home. When I'm out in the field, it's a much different environment. If I say I'm out for 2 weeks, when I get to a point where I can go live every day, I will. But some days you may not see me for 3 days because I'm out in the woods filming and there's no internet. So I'll try to get to the room and say hi to you guys, but sometimes that doesn't work. But anyways, guys, I won't keep you long. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. We'll have a whole host of other topics to discuss tomorrow. And we're going to be going over information. So send me your theories on the retaining pine and construction site. All right, guys, I love you. God bless. Have a great night.